Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to another week of the Whole Soul Podcast. I'm so excited that you're joining me here today. I hope you're having a beautiful day and a beautiful week from wherever you're tuning in from. I'm so stoked because today we're going to be talking about 9 ways to up-level the fuck out of your life and cultivate deep self-worth that is rooting from within, not from external validation. But before we start this episode, make sure you give this podcast a rating on Spotify so that we can get this out to as many women as possible. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to my channel, leave a like on this video, and stay tuned for any episodes that come out in the future. So this has been such a big topic in my life recently because if you've listened to past episodes, I am in a season of solitude and sovereignty right now, which is something that I haven't really had to myself in the last 2.5 years. So having this space of alone time and solitude and really having the opportunity to go within, I see this as an incredible time to not only up-level my life, but grow, personal development, put my time and energy into learning and growing my business, growing my podcast, growing myself in all of the ways. So I want to share this with all of you guys. It is a beautiful time of growth, especially being in the season of winter now. We're not exactly there yet, but we're in fall and we're transitioning into winter, which, if you look at nature as a whole, winter is a time of death. It's cold if you're in the United States or in Europe or above the equator. And it's a time where we are supposed to hibernate. We are supposed to be in this death portal and allow things to be that way rather than resisting it. Because if you can relate to this in any way, for my whole life, I hated winter. I hated how cold it got. I hated that there wasn't much sun. I hated that there was nothing to do. And I had this overall feeling of depression. And the only season that I liked was summer. But nature really gives us an opportunity to sink so deep into every season and really recognize the quality and the beauty that comes with every season. So winter, transitioning into winter right now, we're not supposed to be on all the time. I really believe that this is a season where we slow down, we rest, we integrate, and actually do the inner work in the season of cocooning so that when spring comes again and we start coming back to life, we start to grow and, we enter this new phase and this new era and this new level of our life. And that is just the process of growth, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and maturing into the person that you are becoming, the person that you know that you are meant to be. So I'm going to share with you today 9 tips and steps to up-level the frick out of your life because that's what we're here for. We want to grow into the best version of ourselves. We want to be the most healthy, vital, beautiful, confident, and we want to know our self-worth from within. So the first step, the first thing that we are going to do, the first thing we are going to put our intention and energy towards really cultivating and learning in our lives is learning how to listen. And this doesn't mean just listening to people. It mostly means learning how to listen to yourself. Because when you learn how to listen to yourself, you are learning how to listen to your intuition, to the signals of your body, to the callings of your heart, to what your soul is pulling you towards. So if we can learn how to listen to our body and really tune out the external noise, we are going on this path of fulfillment and dharma and purpose and really just tuning into our highest timeline in this life. So learning how to listen is by far, in my opinion, the number one step that we really need to learn to integrate into our lives to live a fulfilling and wholesome life. And this takes time, right? It's not something that just happens overnight. So what we can do to practice listening to our body is tuning into meditation every day or doing breath work or doing somatic practices like somatic shaking or putting on your headphones and tuning into your body to just dance and really just feel every muscle and every bone moving intuitively through your body. Because as we create space to practice this, it really starts sinking into our body on a cellular level, and that is how we rewire our minds and our body to trust ourselves and listen to our own body rather than listen to external noise of the mind. Tip number 2 is to not overshare. If you are going through a hard time in your life, then I know it can feel very tempting to share all of that or dump it with somebody because you really feel the need to get it out and you don't want to feel alone. But it is so important that you remind yourself that oversharing is really just dumping energy out to other people that don't necessarily deserve to hear the depths of your heart and soul. And it really reflects that you don't have strong self-worth. That is how it is received from other people, especially people that you're not close with. Not everybody deserves to know the depths of what you're going through. Remember that. Of course, it's so important to share the hard things and challenges that we're going through, whether it be with our closest friends or our family or a therapist or a coach that you're working with, to really process it and move through it. But again, remember, don't dump or overshare the things that you're going through with everyone, because not everyone deserves to be in your circle, in your presence, in your closeness, because a lot of times people can use that against you in the future. People can take advantages of your vulnerability, and we don't want that to happen. So keep your circle small, share your vulnerable things with only the closest people that you trust. Not everybody needs to know, and once you overcome your challenges and you rise and you're emanating this beautiful, bright energy, people will see that, and that is enough. Step number 3 and tip number 3 is knowing that you always have options. You are never limited. You are never stuck in one place. And although that might feel so real in your reality and you feel like you can't move forward, I want to remind you that that is not the truth. Of course, if we're repeating the same cycles, the same patterns, if we're surrounded by the same people and we don't change our environment, then it is very easy to feel that way. But the truth of our reality is that we live in an infinite universe. There is infinite timelines because we live in this quantum space reality, and our minds are limited. So sometimes we can get stuck in this box of our mind that keeps us imprisoned in this one way of thinking. So if you get caught in that trap, I just want to remind you that you have infinite options. And if that seems too big for you to digest, just know that you have options to change. And it usually starts with just changing one simple thing. It starts with starting small. You can't just change everything in your life and expect it to stay that way, because that is simply just not sustainable. It's not going to hold off long term. So it really starts by taking small steps, small shifts that you can integrate daily into your life so you don't get overwhelmed. And over time, you build on these simple steps and habits and shifts that you make into your life, because your nervous system can't handle all of that at once. So take it slow, know that you have many options and that you are never actually stuck, even if your mind tries to convince you of that. Step number 5, tip number 5 is to keep yourself busy with things that make you feel good. Not something that you want to do or something that you're doing to make somebody else good, or because blah, 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 all this noise of things that you should be doing. I want you to really reflect and look within and feel into what makes you feel good in this life. Because if you're in school, if you're working a corporate job, or you're just working a lot, doing things that you need to be doing to survive, and you're not prioritizing time to actually tune into your heart and do the things that you simply enjoy for enjoyment, it's going to be so easy to feel anxious, overwhelmed, unfulfilled, and overall just so depressed, because you're not prioritizing time to make yourself feel good with what you're doing, to feel good in this life, to feel good with who you are. And the more time that you can actually put towards the things that make you feel good in this life, the more you're going to fill your soul, the more attention and water and nutrients you're putting into the garden of your soul. And that is going to compound into the most beautiful results over time of just feeling alive and feeling good that, no amount of money or no amount of love from somebody else will be able to give you. So really fulfilling your own needs of joy simply for the purpose of feeling good and feeling alive and loving life is such a big, important step to up-leveling your life, to feeling good and reclaiming your self-worth. Because when you feel good, you have high self-worth, and that is just a big correlation that I feel is so missed. Tip number 6 to up-level your life is to learn how to say no and never feel guilty about it. For my people pleasers, I know how hard this can be and feel. Trust me, I know it. I have been there, I've experienced it, and it is something that I'm still learning to overcome with every interaction I have, where I have to choose myself and my needs over pleasing somebody else. Saying no is truly one of the most empowering things that you can do, because yes, you're saying no to something, but in reality, you're saying yes to yourself. Because if you're not in alignment with something that is happening or something that you're being offered to do, whether it be hang out with someone or make plans, you're saying yes to yourself. Because if you don't feel like doing something, why would you try to please someone else if that's only going to make you feel worse? And that's a rhetorical question, because I know how that is with people pleasing, and that's just a natural byproduct. But if we really break it down, it doesn't make sense, because we're just abandoning ourselves. So a big way to really build self-worth and level the fook out of your life is to learn how to say no and say yes to yourself. Step number 7, guys, this one is so important. Treat yourself like a priority in order to be treated like a priority. Listen, energy is energy. Everyone feels energy, even if they're not aware of energy. If you don't prioritize yourself, if you don't treat yourself like a priority, you are not giving a signal to other people to prioritize you. If you have low self-worth and you don't value yourself or love yourself, people are not really going to value you. If you let people walk all over you like a doormat, then yeah, they're going to do that. But if you treat yourself like a queen, people are going to treat you like that. Maybe not, but the people that are in your circle, the people that truly see you for who you are going to respect you, and you're going to inspire them. They're going to treat you as you treat yourself. So in order to attract a life that you are worth living, to attract the friends that match your frequency of high self-worth and high self-love, you have to treat yourself like a priority. Because if you don't, nobody else is going to treat you that way. Step number 8 is to never beg for anyone or anything. Begging really gives off this desperation energy, saying, I need this in my life to feel good, or I need this in my life to feel happy, or I need this in my life to feel okay. No. We are canceling that. We are getting that out of our life. We're getting that energy out. We're pushing it far away out of our aura, because we are not desperate for anything. We truly don't need anyone or anything to prove how valid and worthy we are, because our worthiness comes from within. It is an inside job. It comes from building ourselves from within, and we don't need anybody to tell us how worthy we are, because we already know that from within ourselves. So if people are not vibing with you on this personal development journey, this self-love journey, this spiritual growth journey, then let them go, let them leave, let anything leave that no longer aligns with you and your values and your growth journey, because they are not meant to be there anyways. I think this is the most beautiful part of the self-love, self-growth, personal, spiritual growth journey, whatever you want to call it, is as you evolve upwards in this upward spiral, people are naturally just going to fall away. Not just people, but so many different things, habits, experiences, things that no longer align with who you are and the journey you're on. And I say let it all fall away, because you are going towards something so much higher and better that is actually aligned with your higher self and your dreams and your highest timeline. You need to trust that everything that is meant for you will stay, and everything that is not meant for you will fall away. And that is a beautiful thing, even though it may feel very painful at times. And I'm sure you've experienced what it's like losing a friend or a best friend or a boyfriend or a partner or any acquaintances that you have. It can be very painful, but it's for the best, because it is not serving you anymore. And last but not least, step and tip number 9 is to stay humble. When you share from a humble place. When you teach from a humble place. When you learn from a humble place. And this means really putting your ego aside. You don't think you're better than anybody, because you're not. You know that everyone is equally and inherently worthy as you are. You're not ego tripping anybody. You're putting yourself on a pedestal, but it doesn't mean that you're better than anybody. So in truth, you are seeing everybody around you as equal, even though, you are growing and you are evolving, and people are going to fall away because you no longer resonate with them, but that doesn't make you better than them at all. And I think that's such a big spiritual trap that a lot of people go through as they go on this spiritual growth or personal development journey. They outgrow people and they put themselves on this pedestal that is actually higher than this other person. But that is a trap. That is not good. That is your ego, actually. So I want you to know that as you grow, as you evolve, as you expand, and you outgrow people, you outgrow places and situations, you are not actually better than that. Yes, you're going a separate direction, and you could consider it a higher path, but it doesn't make this person or thing any less than you are. You are equal. So here in this situation, we want to stay humble. We want to have unconditional love for the people that we let go of in our life, or the people that are no longer in our lives, for the places that are no longer in our lives. And we stay rooted in this knowing of who we are, humble, and knowing that everything is perfect. And no, I don't mean everything is perfect in a way where, there's wars, there's terrible things going on, but I'm talking about in a sense of things falling away and things unfolding and things evolving, people shifting. Everything is happening for you, not to you, in simplest terms. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. I really hope that one of the things that I shared with you today really stuck with you, and you will really hold in your heart and in your mind as you go throughout your days, as you go throughout your life, as you really grow on this path of sovereignty and self-development and self-love. Because as the days go by, we want to love ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper. So knowing these things and having these tools to really come back to sink into deep inherent self-worth is so important to up-level your life and to expand. And one more tip that I want to give you that is a little bit unrelated to this episode, but it is so important for you to integrate into your life as you're going through big expansion periods, is to really prioritize nervous system regulation. And what happens during nervous system regulation is that you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which then activates and triggers the rest and digest response. So in this case, you are stimulating your vagus nerve, which really brings peace and calm to the body. Ways you can do this: you can meditate, you can do breath work, you can somatic shake, you can intuitively dance and just tune into your body. Any body-based practices that you do that have to do with movement or breath or just simply tuning into your heart are going to regulate your nervous system. And this is super helpful, and it goes hand in hand with building your self-worth and your self-confidence and up-leveling your life. Because the more space you create in your body, in your nervous system, the more space you can hold as you go into these next chapters, as you have to hold more because you're becoming more, you're becoming a higher version of self than you were before. Nervous system regulation is key. So I really encourage you guys to start practicing that. You can find YouTube videos or guided meditations to do that. I actually have a self-love, self-care meditation that I posted on YouTube, I think this week or last week, so you can go check that out. I love you guys so much. If you loved this episode, make sure to screenshot it, post it on your story on Instagram, or let me know in the comments what tip or what step really resonated with you the most. And again, if you haven't already, be sure to rate the podcast on Spotify, and if you're on YouTube, make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe, and leave a comment so that we can connect. I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I am so excited to talk to you next week. Mwah.